Tonight, you might be less than thrilled with Kentucky leaders' reaction to learning a state employee was wasting tax dollars.
Neighbors of a state transportation worker called the I-Team to report she was hardly working. The I-Team videotaped the evidence more than a year ago. Getting results took a long time. Lori Quinlivan has our exclusive.
Clyde and Carol, after catching this employee hardly working, we wondered if other government workers also cheat the system. So we shared our evidence with top bosses to see what they would do.
This is Valerie Januski. She makes more than $41,000 a year as safety coordinator for the Kentucky Department of Transportation. Januski ensures Northern Kentucky transportation workers like these follow safety regulations. It's an important job.
We want the utmost working environment, the safest working environment we can have for our employees.
Januski drives from county to county. Her bosses trust her to put in a full day's work. Our I-Team investigation found on many occasions she did not. Her neighbors tipped us off.
We're all working in the private sector. We get our paycheck, we see how much the state takes out. And we're like, this is just one person, and there's probably more that's going on all over through the state.
Januski's neighbors in this Triple Crown subdivision want to remain anonymous. They say they got tired of watching her wasting their tax dollars. They saw her hanging out at home and at a nearby pool when she was supposed to be working.
What gives her the right to basically sit on her rear end and collect a paycheck?
The I-Team followed Januski several times in the summer of 2005. We caught her falsifying her time records on several occasions. August 16th, Januski leaves home at 8:08 in the morning, returns at 11:18, and stays home the rest of the day. But her reports claim she worked a full day, 7:30 to 4. She writes she did an inspection at Harrison County Maintenance Facility, checked a crew ditching, went to Robertson County and completed a walkthrough inspection and checked a crew patching. September 16th, Januski left home at 9:41 and returned 3 hours later at 12:48. But she claimed she worked 7:30 to 4. She said she worked in the district office, then went to Boone County Maintenance for inspection and inspected crews ditching. On Friday, August 19th, we watched Januski for hours, drinking beer and hanging out at a friend's pool. She was there all afternoon with her state vehicle parked in the driveway. But Januski's work report claims she worked 7:30 to 4 in Boone County, doing walkthrough inspections and checking maintenance patching on Route 237.
If you're getting paid to work, you're supposed to work.
After documenting Januski skipping work, we asked to interview her boss at District 6, but he declined. So we called Kentucky's Office of the Inspector General.
She's never left home.
Investigators came to the TV station to review our tapes and evidence. Then they investigated Januski 6 more months. Inspector General David Ray.
What did your investigators find?
Behavior that violated some of the rules and regulations for the state government. Misuse of the state vehicle, putting down hours that she claimed that she worked and she did not.
The Inspector General report said the I-Team videos show what appears to be Januski conducting activities unrelated to her duties during days and hours Januski claimed to be working. The OIG found she falsified work reports on 5 separate occasions and used her state computer to access and review personal cell phone bills. Januski declined to speak to the I-Team, but told investigators she was simply using comp time, saying it was a verbal, trustworthy system that we take it off on Friday.
You're not allowed really to take comp time and put it on the black book. Say, well, I worked 10 hours yesterday, only put down 7.5, so that Friday afternoon I'll just leave work 2.5 hours early.
Kentucky policy requires comp time to be approved in advance and documented by a supervisor. Januski's supervisor was Chief Engineer Tom Shoemaker, seen here cutting a ribbon with a Kentucky state senator. Shoemaker declined to talk to the I-Team, but told state investigators, "I trust her. I don't think she's stealing time." Investigator: "So if she wanted to take an afternoon off, would she ever tell you?" Shoemaker: "Normally she didn't, no."
Why wasn't her supervisor, Mr. Shoemaker, held accountable in some way.
This was one of those situations where we've always done it this way. It's a lot to ask one person to be the direct supervisor, manager, if you will, over 300 people.
More than a year after our investigation began, the personnel director of Kentucky's Transportation Department decided Januski's punishment, a 15-day suspension.
Just like a slap on the wrist. Where's the repercussions? That's my question.
Why didn't she get fired?
I think that's another very valid question. I think in this case, you're looking at a handful of instances. And yes, again, we're not going to condone or defend any inappropriate behavior on the part of any employee in the cabinet. But you're looking at a handful of instances compared to a body of work that is 10 years.
Can you assure Kentucky taxpayers that this isn't happening all the time in government?
I can assure Kentucky taxpayers that we're doing everything we can to make sure it's not. I think you have a more intense effort to make sure that time is accurately reported and accurately accounted for.
The state now requires employees to sign off every year on the comp time policy to make sure they understand it.
Lori, did the state institute anything to make Januski more accountable?
No, they did not. We were surprised to find out that she no longer even has to do her bi-monthly reports, so she's actually less accountable than she was before. Now, we did try to get the local Kentucky state lawmakers to comment on this story, but they declined, saying they are sure the Transportation Department handled things properly.
Interesting story.
All right, Lori, thanks.
Sure.
And now to sports, where